All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar AI use case on SAP BTP. My name is Dominic, and I'm a client partner at Sovanta. The webinar today is a joint event of SAP and Sovanta and will be recorded. You will receive the link to the recording and the slide decks by email in the next few days. The last 15 minutes of the webinar, there will be a Q&A session, so just write your questions in the chat below. And at the very end, we have another special offer, so it's worth stay until the very last minute. And having said that, I'll now hand over to Ripan from SLB for a brief introduction and today's agenda.
Hi, everyone. Good to see you all in today's webinar. Also, warm welcome from my side, from SAP side. I'm Ripa Mahal. I'm Customer Success Partner for Business Technology Platform. And today we'll deep dive into how AI on SAP Business Technology Platform is driving innovations and transforming business processes through real world use cases and also insights from our experts, such as Philip from Sovanta and also Josephine from SAP side. So you'll get basic understanding of SAP strategy in the AI portfolio on BTP. You'll get examples and use cases from SAP side and also from Sovanta side. So yeah, stay tuned for the GenAI use case that has been also implemented at some of the customers that are managed by Sovanta. And at the end of the webinar, you're going to get some recommendations. Good. Saying that, I'm going to hand over to you, Josephine, to kick it off. So the stage is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello and happy afternoon, everyone. Hope you're going to stay awake through all the session today. And my part is about telling you where we stand as SAP with the business AI. What does it actually mean? And what are actually the benefits for the customer from a much more, down-to-earth approach? And be sure to write your questions during the talk into the chat so we can answer them later on. Now, you probably know this picture when you're thinking about the SAP, that we dedicate our time into the clean core approach and building a sustainable ERP system for the future that is stable, future-proof, gets all the technology benefits out there, and it's also nevertheless industry specific for exactly what our customers are looking for, where we build all the extensions around the ERP into our business technology platform. Now, this would be into the big lines, how the clean core fits into the story, and where the AI comes in is basically covering the whole ecosystem of solutions, partner solutions, our own solutions. And you're going to see into the next slides that the AI-powered business processes are a very realistic thing, that you can get AI from a variety of areas into the SAP landscape, from the cloud ERP all the way down to business technology platform. As you probably seen this into my other presentations, for those that already know me, the evolution of artificial intelligence is actually where we are standing right now with the generative AI. It didn't come up just like that from the air, and it wasn't just a meteorite into the technology sky. But actually, the AI came from the 70s. It was just called at that time statistics. And based on statistics, decision making was being done. After learning and getting more computing power into the technology and making decisions based on statistics, then we could build patterns and we could build algorithms that were building then the machine learning path. And the machine learning was the more, let's say, intelligent AI. It's still being used today, but as you can see, while machine learning is here to stay, it never really got the super boom into spreading itself into the industries, mostly because it was just not so easy to implement or to use. It has great benefits, but you just need to find the right personnel for that. And you're having like, you need to have a PhD in order to be able to get with all the data science and with all the mathematics around it in order to implement it. So as you can see into this picture, then the generative AI was the one that actually made a huge boom into the AI adoption. And that's because all of a sudden, OpenAI has been democratizing AI, and it was then available for everyone, even for free, to test it, to start dealing with GenAI, to talk to it, to learn from it, and the AI could learn from us. So the generative AI is actually built on a lot of machine learning, on large language models, so on understanding the language and what we speak. And this is why all of a sudden it got more adopted, because it was easy to start for us end users into using it. Now, into big lines, how how generative AI is being used is that you have the so-called foundation models right here, which you can think about. These are like the like Llama, or any AI related but not yet GenAI part of machine learning that has been trained with a lot of data, like a lot of data, text, image, speech, structured, unstructured data, music, think it. Yeah, and after these foundation models have been trained, they were at the level of knowledge, like a kid just finishing school and having like the basis knowledge of all the books into our libraries, and being able to talk and form sentences into a way that we understand, and then in a way that it can understand us. So that was the beginning of the large language models. But again, these large language models were like still, as I said, very generic, like you're just finishing school and you know everything, but actually nothing. And with a little adaptation, like prompt engineering, embeddings, and fine tuning, you could actually make a much more specialized model of these foundation models. Gen AI building into a specific direction that can be a digital assistant. It can do question answering. It can do code generation if you taught it this way. So this is in big lines how you can understand the foundation models and how the Gen AI is actually being built. Now, if we're looking at the generative AI solutions out there into the wild, you're going to find a lot of them, and most of them are coming like in this general approach that here's a platform, here are the tools for AI for it, several of them. You don't even really get a picture of how it should like in the end. You just get these parts just like into this IKEA ad, and take a seat, like build up yourself something. Is it going to be a seat, or is it going to be a bench or a bed? Well, that's up to you and how you manage to deal with those parts. So SAP thought about it like, okay, this cannot be the right approach, for our customers. And we do not want to be just yet another Gen AI, and we do not want to be just yet another large language model, because there are enough out there, and we think that there are partners that are doing a great job into releasing their generic AIs, like a ChatGPT or like the Google Gemini. So we thought, like, based on our knowledge of 50 years into the business and based on what we talk to our customers, what is actually the expectation? And the expectation is actually to have a business AI. Customers don't want those tools. They just want to get ready to work, achieve the results fast, and they just want to have a solution that is, specific for their issues or specific for what they want to achieve into the business world. So we built then our SAP approach to business AI. And business AI is something much more intelligent, like the normal AI. Think about it like, again, the kid that finished school, but on top of it, it's doing a university study for business and administration and a master degree on top. And that is business AI. When we built this, it was important for us that business AI is relevant. That means that having a generic AI that just, is very creative, it's in answers and is searching through all its documents into the internet or that it was trained with, that's not going to be relevant for your business, because your business has your data and you know best your customers and you know best what you're doing. And the AI will have a generic AI will have absolutely no clue about what you have there. So we want our business AI to be relevant for you and give you exactly the data that you have, that you need, and that is relevant for your business. Then it's very important that an AI is reliable. The thing with the Gen AIs is that they're creative. That's why it's called generative. That's why they can talk to us and create poems and write even music or make a picture. However, into the world of business, you want to be reliable and not creative. Think about it. If you would be making a balance sheet on a creative way, well, that's not going to really go right, because, the numbers that are there, they can be creative and not the numbers that are coming from your data. So that's why business AI needs to be reliable and give you exactly the data that you have and that you can follow up on the data that is real. And the third point that was for us important was the building the AI on privacy standards to make it responsible. We care about what happens with the data of our customers. Okay, so the responsibility here comes also from keeping you as safe as possible, into a safe haven and into a safe place with your data. And also be sure that the AI is moving into specific parameters of moral and ethics that is not going to be threatening to us humans or give us an ungood feeling about what it's happening, but it just needs to be, businesslike and straight to the answer and be able to keep the data privacy safe. And only by having these 3 R's in place, we can achieve real business results instead of some generative AI business results. Now, the data privacy, because I mentioned it, it's a very important part for us into the generative AI, because we do not give the data away for training purposes. Not even us at SAP, when we are training our models, not even us, we are giving the data away. So, and we're not using your data to train onto our models. 50 years of experience of SAP, we have enough data from our own developments that we can feed up into the AIs that we're building, so that it covers the 3R principles. So your data is always going to be safe based on our SAP product standards, our SAP Global AI ethics policies, and by sticking only the data into your area into the cloud. Not going to be forwarded. No customer data is used for third-party vendors to train foundation models. You're safe. So where can you find this whole AI into the SAP world? I mean, okay, we know how it's working right now, so where do we start? Well, it's actually very easy, because you don't have to search for it. It's already embedded into a lot of our line of business solutions. We have already AI embedded into the Cloud ERP, in HR, in Ariba, in Sales Cloud version 2, and so on and so forth. So all of our LOB solutions are already working with AI. You can already use it. You can have Gen AI functionality at your fingertips. It's all already there. You just have to enable it and start using it. On top of all our LOB embedded capabilities, we are bringing Joule, our Copilot. Do not confuse it with the Microsoft Copilot. These are actually intelligent agents that can work together. So one does not exclude the other. But Joule is the one that is built into the SAP world, into your landscapes. And that means that Joule knows exactly what your data is, the content of it, and can help you navigate around that data, and can help you enter sales orders just from the normal language interaction. And Joule is an amazing thing, especially when you're new to SAP or you just don't like remembering transactions like I am. And you don't have to remember those transactions anymore. You just have to tell Joule what you want to make, and he's going to take you to the right place for that. So this is one way of using embedded AI. The other way would be by using into points 2 and 3, building and bolt-on solutions on business technology platform. Now, the BTP itself is bringing the AI Foundation. The AI Foundation is a service that congregates all our partner services into one single offering. So you have access to all big large language models out there that have been retrained to understand business AI. So AI Foundation, for example, is going to give you access to Claude to do computer vision that is already trained, though, for SAP use cases. Or it's going to help you manage your coding and help you deal with coding through the OpenAI by using it into the build code. Or you can just build your own application into the BTP platform, and you can use it on any of the services and our partners, our AI partners that you can see here. Now, the cool part about it is that, as you know, technology changes quite fast. That means whatever you build today, it can be very obsolete in 6 months, especially when we're looking at AI, because they get retrained, they get smarter, next version is out there. Which means, let's just say that today, for understanding language and for a specific use case that you have, a Microsoft OpenAI would be the right solution. Now, if you're working directly on the platforms of Azure and with OpenAI, because this is like the default AI solution for the Microsoft, and you build up your application on it, and it works great. But in 6 months, Google Gemini is coming out and says they are the best. And you test it on your use case and you discover, yes, indeed, actually Google Cloud would be the better solution for your application. In a normal case, you would be actually stuck with your application on Microsoft's Azure, and you'd have to continue running it because you've already built it there. This is where it is, and you cannot change the backend. With SAP BTP and the AI Foundation, you do not have to change your application. Once you build it and you run it, don't even have to shut it down. You only have to change into the AI Foundation the working large language model from OpenAI to Gemini, and you're set. That was it. Your application keeps running. As I said, you don't have to turn it off. You don't have to relaunch it or resend it to your clients. You've just changed the backend, and that's it. You are set already to the latest technology. And I think this is a great feature that is being offered just with us because we have this ecosystems of partnerships with all the big ones. So you have always the best choice into AI. Now, just a little bit over the use cases before you hear way more about it from our partner, Sovanta. Let me remind you what is already possible. So if you look at this slide, it's like a lot is already there. A lot into the ERP, into the S/4HANA public edition. The reason why you'll see mostly the public edition is because that's a clean core, and we are in control of the updates, so we can roll out updates with AI all the time. While a private cloud would be actually into the responsibility of a customer to update, and we cannot bring all the updates into the private cloud as we do it for the public edition. Into the sales and marketing area with the Service Cloud and Sales Cloud version 2, you have amazing features already done and working, like the email draft recommender and an account synopsis for sales, which help you identify your customers, identify the latest actions that happened with them, based on meeting minutes or based on what you entered into the system. And then the AI can write an email for you and can create you a profile of the customer that helps you out communicate with him. So it's amazing for salespersons that are introverts and that do not know what to tell to their customers or how to write them. Well, in this case, you're going to let the AI do the work for you. You will get access anyway to our slides, so you'll be able to go through all these features and test it out, test the features into the products that you already have from us. Now, looking a little bit more into what else can you do with AI if it's not out of the box, it's a very classical example of a conversation-driven customer self-service agent for utilities, or generally, actually, any self-serving chatbot and agent. You know what? Because the AI has access to all the relevant data from a customer, an end customer can do its self-service without knowing, you know, the backend transactions, what would have to do, without getting access to any SAP system or any other backend system. And it's helping not just you by offering much more security when you're dealing with your own customers, but it helps the customer actually be able to solve its problems on its own faster than, you know, waiting for some service to happen. I know as a user, as an end user, sometimes how frustrating it can be when you're talking to a machine and it does not understand you. This is just a question of implementation and a question about which AI module you take or which AI service you use in the backend, which LLM, and how did you give him access to your data so it can be more relevant for you. So don't be afraid to use a self-service agent or try to implement it for yourself. Just think about how to give the agent, the chatbot, enough knowledge that it can constructively support the end customers. And believe me, I failed once the Turing test. I actually believe that what I was writing to was my customer when actually it was ChatGPT, because the customer didn't speak English. So he was just telling in the backend the ChatGPT what to write me. Yeah. I was actually surprised when I met the customer and I started talking with my normal English, and he was just like looking at me with big eyes, like doesn't understand the thing. I'm like, how can you? You were just writing me in amazing English and American English. He's like, yeah, that was ChatGPT. So it can work amazing. Another type of example would be not by using text, but using vision. This is visual inspection. That means that you can just take pictures with your cell phone of an item, and the computer vision without training is going to recognize what's into that picture. Think about it that we can use that into reading anything that's analog and would not be able to retrofit it into the digital world, like analog gauges. And we could use the visual inspection to just pass by with the cell phone and photograph the clock, and it would automatically enter the data that was written, that was shown on that clock into your backend system. And that without having to fuzz around with machine learning and tons of pictures to train it on, because the AI is already done that. It's already pre-trained. It already knows what that picture is about. It also gives you the AI then, by you having these features, an amazing and much faster go-to-market and availability of your projects. You'll find AI also into our process automations, into reading business documents, even non-standard business documents, because it understands the content of it. And you can already use it into the SAP Analytics Cloud with a Just Ask, where you can just ask the SAC Cloud for business questions, and the bot is going to create the dashboards for you. By that, I hope you got a bit of a feeling about where we stand. And right now, I'd like to give to my colleagues from Sovanta, further on to Philip, to get you a much deeper dive into the use cases and how this works. Thank you.
All right, then I will share my screen. I hope you can see my slides. So welcome also from my side, from Sovanta's side, to this webinar and to the second session of this webinar, to a talk about transforming business with AI on the BTP. We will go through how we see the pillars on the BTP of AI, and then for the pillars we deep dive some use cases. We show some use cases, not just for generative AI, but also for classic AI, I would say. But yeah, so let's start. A few words about myself. My name is Philip Weißmann. I'm a senior data scientist at Sovanta. I'm working at Sovanta for a bit more than 5 years now, and from the beginning on, caring about the question how to bring the world's BTP and AI together, and how to use AI in the BTP, which try out new services like AI Core, Generative AI Hub, and so on. And going further to to Sovanta, before we start to jump into the topic, a few words about Sovanta. Sovanta is a SAP partner, helping customers to use SAP software in particular to build innovative, I would say, extensions, in particular on the BTP. The initial target of Sovanta, which was founded in 2009, was to simplify usage of business software. And when it comes to business software, of course, it also leads to SAP. And yes, everything is more or less moving to the cloud. The BTP, or formerly the SAP Cloud Platform, is always one of our big focus topics. We have a big focus on human-centered design, because in more or less every implementations or every developments we do, we start from the user perspective, and first view the process or the current process from the user perspective, and check, okay, what can be better, what does the user need to have a good experience using the software we implement. And that's why we also have many user experience designers at Sovanta. We have altogether 250 employees from different fields, as I said, user experience designers, developers, front end and back end, but also data scientists caring about machine learning, AI, and so on. We have currently 8 locations globally, one in Hamburg, which is actually also an SAP app house. Another location in Germany is Cologne, and our headquarters are in Heidelberg. We have other locations in Spain, in Valencia, but also in Buenos Aires, in Argentina. And just recently, we opened a location in Newtown Square in the USA, also close to SAP in the US. We are actually SAP Gold Partner. We are also part of the Qualtrics Partner Network. As I said, user is always in our focus, so we also need feedback from the users. So that's why we also care a lot about Qualtrics and surveys and so on. That's why we don't just call our teams BTP Squad, we also call them XM Squad, or sometimes HXM Squad. A few numbers to sum this up. We have 240 customers, more than 240 customers, more than 500 projects, and in total, over all projects, more than 2 million users. And now jumping into the topic, we have seen this picture before, or in a similar version. As you know, starting from the ERP systems like CRM systems and so on. And if you want to build extensions on it, or if you want to build some custom solutions which you maybe don't want to implement in your ERP systems because the concept of clean core, the core processes are in the ERP systems, and you don't want to build customized solutions in the ERP systems. You need a platform to build those extensions, and that's why we have the BTP, which is a platform to build innovative solutions additionally to the ERP systems, additionally to your core processes. And the BTP has those 5 pillars: app development, automation, integration, data and analytics, and of course AI, which is our focus for today. Actually, on the left-hand side, you can see that at Sapphire this year, Sovanta was also presented as a focus partner for AI on the BTP. And going to 2 more details about AI on the BTP, we see 3 pillars, or we separate our use cases or our projects with customers into 3 pillars. The first one is using pre-built models by BTP, so pre-built models on the BTP. This means that you don't have to train a model based on your data, or you don't have to provide training data for the model. You can just go to the BTP, select the service, create a service instance, and then it's more or less ready to use via, for example, an API. Examples for that are the document information extraction service, which actually has also a premium version, which has generative AI under the hood. Other examples are the data attribute recommendation or business entity recognition, which provides you a concrete business entity based on your search, just written as text, or personalized recommendations and translation hub. Those are just some examples. We also have a use case for this pillar, which actually uses the first service, the document information extraction service, which is the use case of sales order automation, where we use the document information extraction service to extract structured data from sales orders coming in as PDFs in various unstructured formats. And you can see here the number of 50,000 incoming orders per year. And the process before our solution was basically a person has to browse through those PDFs and read out the data manually, and then insert those data into the relevant ERP systems, which in our case were S4HANA and ECC, actually 2 of them. And as you can imagine, 50,000 incoming orders per year, it's quite a lot. So if you have to handle all of them manually, that's quite a lot of work and a huge manual effort. And of course, it's error prone. So, with this number of orders, there will errors happen. And our solution was basically, send these orders to the document information extraction service. The document information extraction service extracts the data, the relevant data out of the PDFs. You can basically specify your fields which you want to extract. Hand it over to a bot, which we implemented in the build process automation. And then the bot sends the data to the ERP systems via integration flows, which we developed in the integration suite. Advantage, of course, the whole process happens in real time. So when an order is coming in, the bot actually reads out the email inbox and sends it directly to the document information extraction service. So there's no time where the PDFs are just lying around at some SharePoint, and a few days later they are processed. They are just processed more or less real time, a few minutes after they were sent into the inbox. Then manual errors are minimized since the extraction of the information happens automatically. Manual errors are minimized. Of course, the model can also make errors, But in the build process automation, you can also implement an approval step that you also can double check the information which were extracted by the docs. And of course, if you notice that the number of incoming orders per year increases, then scalability is also not a problem. And if you do this manually, then I don't know, you have to hire a new employee to do this. And with the automation, you can just run another instance if it's required. So scaling is also quite easy in this case. All right, so this was a use case for the first pillar for pre-built services on the BTP. Another pillar which we see is our custom-built models, which you can use, for example, together with AI Core and an AI Launchpad. This means you provide data and configure AI Core to train a model on this data, and then AI Core provides an API, for example, for making predictions, but also for retraining and so on. Another option would be Cloud Foundry, which is, I would say, more or less a standard runtime on the BTP, where you can just deploy your models, which you, for example, trained on another server or locally, or you can also train it on Cloud Foundry. Cloud Foundry apps have some space limitations, of course. So Cloud Foundry would be more suitable for smaller models. I would say for example, for some regression tasks or some standard classifications. And the more advanced version of this would be Kyma, where you can configure your infrastructure more, or the infrastructure is more customizable than in Cloud Foundry. Data providing or data handling for those three options can be, for example, done with Datasphere. And then, of course, analytics can be done, for example, with SAC. We also have an example for this, which is QuickSelect, a configuration tool which we built together with our customer Entres and Hauser. A few words about Entres and Hauser. Entres and Hauser produces products for the measurement of several physical variables, for example, temperature or pressure. And to buy a product of Entres and Hauser, you first have to configure it. So an example is when you want to measure the temperature of a liquid, then of course it depends on the liquid which material you have to choose for your thermometer in this case. For example, if the liquid is an acid, then the material of the thermometer, of course, must be robust against this liquid. But if you have just a standard liquid like water, then you can maybe choose a more simple material. And there are several features similar to the material which you have to choose. And for that, you need a configurator. And there was already a classic configurator where you have basically choose an option for each feature. And if there are 20 features with each 20 options, then you have a lot of choices which you can do. And the feedback of Entres and Hauser customers was that the configuration process is often too complex, and there was a need for a simpler solution to be guided to a finished configuration very quickly. And that's why we built QuickSelect, which analyzes past sales data. And in each configuration step, we basically suggest the feature in a way such that the way to a finished configuration outgoing from this part configuration is or can be finished as fast as possible. Like when we starting now the process again in the video which is running in the background, then you can see here, okay, outgoing from this part configuration here, we suggest the next feature Anzeige and Bedienung in a way such that the process is finished as fast as possible. And then after a few clicks, we say, or the model says, okay, outgoing from your part configuration, there's a very high probability that you choose exactly this particular end configuration, and then we directly suggest it and finish the configuration automatically. And also the choices here, they are of course sorted according to the probability as the user will choose it in the end. So in this case, for example, option E or option BB in this case is the option with the highest probability. All right, so that's a use case for a custom built model on the BTP. And now, of course, the most advanced or most recent topic are large language models on the BTP, or about generative AI on the BTP. They can be used via the generative AI hub via AI Core. You can, on the one hand, you can choose models provided by SAP, but on the other hand, you can also choose, you can also deploy your custom models. You can choose between third-party models like GPT via Azure, but you can also, as I said, use SAP-hosted open source models like Llama 3. Those models are usable via AI Launchpad, via simple UI, or you can also access them via an API. And now, if you want to use those models to read out information from your company's documents like PDFs, some project documentations, or how-tos, then you can use the Sovanta GenAI Lab, which is basically an offering which uses the power of LLMs to deliver a chat possibility to ask questions on your own company documents. Everything happens just inside the BTP, so the documents you upload never leave the BTP. So data protection and data security, we are fine. All requests are just processed in the BTP and never leaves those boundaries. The GenAI Lab itself delivers, as I said, a UI with a chat possibility where you can first upload documents and then ask questions about those documents. I will also show that in a second. You have private spaces where you can upload your own documents, but you also have public spaces where you can say, okay, those documents are relevant for all employees of my company. So I create a public space and then upload some standard documents. Or quite recently, we also added a Confluence plugin to ask also questions, for example, about your Confluence. And under the hood, the BTP is the underlying technology with AI Core and the generative AI hub. Coming to the architecture, how it looks like. First, we have a user interface, of course, with that the user can interact with. After the user interface, of course, we need a backend, which in this case is a Python backend on Cloud Foundry as underlying database. One can basically choose between HANA Cloud and Postgres. Both have possibilities to save those text embedded as vectors. That's why one needs the vector engine, for example, of HANA Cloud. On the other side, on the right-hand side, we use also some standard BTP service like access URA to connect your identity provider to such that everybody from your company can log in with the standard company login. Of course, you can also restrict this to some BTP roles which you set up. We're also using the object store, and on the bottom part of the architecture, you can see the AI part basically, which is provided by generative AI hub via AI Core. And as I said, you can choose between SAP hosted models like Falcon, Mixtral, or Llama 3. But you can also use third-party models like GPT. And via the AI Launchpad, the data scientist can then make configurations based on your needs. For example, configuring the model which should be applied in the GenAI Lab. in the end. And our offering, which includes the GenAI Lab, is the GenAI Starter, where we basically kickstart your usage of generative AI on the BTP, starting with understanding your business, analyzing your documents maybe which you want to apply on the GenAI Lab. Then, of course, developing a strategy of how to set this up, analyzing the BTP infrastructure, analyzing which services you need, and then, of course, the implementation itself, and then also handing it over to the employees, which then can use it. In particular, I see a very high potential for new employees which have just recently joined the company. For example, if they ask some questions about when something is broken, when they notice something is broken in the office, what to do, then they don't have to search manually through the documents or to ask some other employees, but just ask the question in the GenAI Lab, and then the information what to do will be the answer in the end. An example where we did this in a very short time frame was with our customer Freudenberg. We did this GenAI starter in 8 weeks, starting with a design phase, where we had a kickoff and a workshop where we analyzed the use cases, what should be solved with the GenAI Lab, drafted the project setup, and then, of course, use case scoping, as I said, what should be solved with the GenAI Lab in the end. Then the engineering phase, which means the technical preparation, analyzing the BTP infrastructure, which services are needed, which services are set up, how does this fit in the account, in the account structure on the BTP, and then, of course, maybe one of the most important parts, evaluate which LLM is the best fitting one for the use cases. And then the production phase, which is the realization of this, the whole implementation and the deployment on the BTP. So the setup basically on the GenAI Lab on the BTP. And then the next phase would be shipment, like handing it over, then of course testing from the customer, getting feedback, making some bug fixes if needed, and then a go live, so handing it over to the power users. And then after that, we also said we do some hypercare of 2 weeks in case some issues occur. And then, of course, a detailed documentation will be handed over. And then, of course, if you have more ideas which you want to solve, or if we have more ideas which could be solved based on your documents or on your data, then of course there's always a possibility to create a roadmap for more cases or more implementations. And now coming to the practical part, I will shortly stop the presentation and show you the GenAI Lab. This is basically the entry point. You can see here on the left-hand side the latest inquiry. So each inquiry is basically a set of documents which you upload together with a chat. As I said, we also just recently developed a Confluence plugin where you can connect your Confluence base, which in my opinion is also very useful. For example, if you have a detailed project documentations and you search for specific information and you don't exactly know on which subpage you can find it, then just ask the question about this information, and then you will get an answer for that. Or if you, I don't know, have a long-running meeting series for several years, a weekly, for example, and you wrote down some meeting minutes on Confluence, and we have discussed this certain topic, but you don't exactly know when it was. You don't want to search in Confluence every subpage. Just search it here in this chat, and then you get also the answer also with a reference where this information is written down, and then you can also check out the conference page. We also have a separation between public and private chats. For example, in the public area, you can see, for example, the conference pages, or in our case, for example, sovanta HR documents, which contain information, of course, about HR topics, safety instructions, and so on. And in the private area, you can upload your own documents and then ask questions about them. So I will do that now. So I will create a new private inquiry. First, I have to upload a document where I will now upload a document of how to open a facility ticket. And then after it was uploaded, in the background, it was embedded as vector or as vectors, and then I can ask questions. For example, I can ask, a window is broken. What should I do? And then, of course, it takes a few seconds, but then I get the answer. Okay, if you notice any damage or faults in your office, it would be great if you reported this directly using a ticket. Please specify the issue in the summary field. For example, broken window. On the right-hand side, you get also the references for that. You can also click on it, and then you can check out the document. In this case, okay, I have just one document, so it's not that helpful. But if you have, I don't know, 20 documents or more, then it's also quite helpful to get the right document where it is. And as you know it from ChatGPT, for example, I can now chat further and say, okay, this is a text. I don't want it as a text. I can also say, transform this into a list. And then I get those instructions basically as a step-by-step instruction. So just what should I do directly as a few steps in the end. A question maybe which we also get from our customers sometimes is, okay, is this model really restricted to the information which you provide them here via this PDFs, and don't or the model, if the model also knows some other stuff or reaches some other contexts. And this is not the case. So for example, when you ask, for example, who is Donald Trump, then you will get the question, okay, there's no information about Donald Trump in the provided context. So the context of this chat is really restricted to the documents you upload here. Maybe as an outlook, what we plan to implement in the next iterations is that such instructions of how to create tickets, that there will be also the possibility to create this ticket automatically. So you don't have to open Jira yourself and provide those informations in the fields. The next step would be, okay, then typing, okay, create this ticket for me, and then the ticket will be created in Jira. All right, but I think that's it for the demo. So I will jump back to the presentation and go on with some numbers about the GenAI lab. This is the first number is a measurement at Sovanta. We measured or tested that for each information an employee searches can save up to 3 minutes for each information using the GenAI lab instead of searching it manually, browsing through Confluence or the documents. And if you, I don't know, search for 5 informations a day, you can calculate that this saves a lot of time if you calculate it up to a week or months. In particular for new employees, as I said at the beginning, it will be probably quite more. Then the next number, which a customer reports to us, that 80% of the work can be facilitated using the GenAI lab. So this means that 80% of the tasks, where GenAI lab can support, are really also simplified by the GenAI lab in the end. And then another number, which is in my opinion also quite impressive, is that the amount of unsuccessful searches. So, for example, if a new employee searches for an information on Confluence or in HR documents, wherever, and at some point the new employee gives up and has to ask another employee, this amount of unsuccessful searches is reduced by 33%, which is also quite impressive and has a very huge impact in my opinion, because asking another employee also does not only save time for the new employee, but also saves time for the potential helping employee in this case. So this is also a very relevant number. And yeah, coming to the end, some more use cases which we already did on the BTP in the area of generative AI, for example, querying technical documents. So we also have customers which produces some very complex products. And for those complex products, there are documentations where everything is explained, the installation instructions and so on, with sometimes around 200 pages. And if you can ask questions about those documents with a chat possibility and you get the answer, this is of course a very helpful case when you use generative AI for that. Then another use case in the area of document handling. So the gray ones as an information, they are the use cases which we already discussed. So sales order automation was use case from the pre-built model on the BTP. But another use case is, for example, service ticket automation. So this means creating Jira tickets from emails coming in. So creating, for example, support tickets, and then also assigning them directly to the correct people. And in the area of forecasting, we, for example, have the use case of finding anomalies. So, for example, finding anomalies in product fail rates. So this means when products have some events where the users of the product complains, okay, my product is broken, and if this happens for products or for many products of a certain production interval, we developed a model to find anomalies in production ranges to identify product production intervals where maybe the production itself was malformed, to check further if if the products which were produced there have more complaints and what to do about them. Do they have to be replaced and so on? Another use case in forecasting is predictive project volumes. In the area of clinical studies, for example, we developed a model which predicted the cost or the costs of the clinical studies based on past projects and of course, as I said, predicting what the clinical study will cost, which in the end was better based on, of course, test data than the manual prediction. And then we already have seen the area of computer vision. Maybe the bottom use case, OCR, for example, if you want to use generative AI on some documents, but you don't have them available as PDFs, but just as as pictures like JPEG or PNG, then of course you can first apply OCR, optical character recognition, to transform those pictures into PDFs, and then apply generative AI on the PDFs, for example. So OCR is also a very, very big topic to transform image to text. All right, and then coming to the final slide, a very short outlook. We have also seen a similar picture before. I think Joule will be a big topic in the end, because it gives the possibility to ask questions about across the whole SAP portfolio, or across the complete SAP portfolio. So it's some similar to a orchestration layer, I would say, over all the AI possibilities which you have in the SAP well, covering the ERP systems, but also BTP, and so on. And if you ask a question, and then you get, as we have heard earlier, the correct place where you have to go, where you have to, where you can solve your issue, and that will be quite impressive. And with that, I will give back to Ripan for the Q&A.
All right, thank you so much, Philip. Yeah, I'm giving the stage back to every guest. Do you have any questions after you've seen all the insights from SAP side and also from Sovanta side? So far, I cannot see any questions in the chat. So in case there are no questions, we'll still leave the webinar open so you can post your question anytime into the chat. Otherwise, feel free to reach out to us if there are any questions coming up right after the webinar. So then I would go back to you, maybe Dominic, regarding the survey. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Ripan. Yeah, as you said, whenever comes up a question, you can also write me or Ripan, and we will come back to you as soon as possible. So yeah, at the end, as I said in the beginning, I promised that there will be a special highlight. Yeah, every webinar participant who takes part in our feedback survey by next Tuesday has the chance to win a free use case exploration workshop by Sovanta. So you simply scan the QR code here, take part in the survey, and you are in our lottery. So of course you will get all detailed information and the link to the survey also in the follow-up mail in the next couple of days, alongside with a link to the recording and the slide deck. Having said that, and if there are no questions now in the chat to be answered, I would say we can close today's session. I hope you have enjoyed our webinar, and thank you for your participation. And yeah, have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Have a nice day, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.